guys. So this is step one to figuring out how we're going to use this camper and have some creature comforts. I would be okay just roughing it with a sleeping bag out under a tree, or maybe not even sleep, maybe some branches to create a little bed and a very rustic shelter.
He's lying. He's more bougie than I am.
And I would be happy with that, but we have to make this stuff nice for someone. So the camera just turned off because Jenny was about to lie to you. She's going to tell you about how bougie I am.
He is.
And how I need all these creature comforts in my old age.
He's the one that turns the AC on.
I'm the one that used to hike all these miles in the woods with nothing but a backpack on my back and
okay, you go do it then.
Freeze-dried food. And remember when we used to do that?
You go do it right now.
Did any of you guys do
the North Country Trail's out there somewhere. Oh, you go get on it. You let me know how that goes, okay? You can record yourself doing it, but I don't know how you're gonna do it without creature comforts like your phone to charge and stuff.
The big problem is that you won't be there with me, so I'll be sad.
I won't be.
And I won't cry myself to sleep every night.
Well, at least you don't have. At least you'll have your straw to sleep on or your pine needles.
My little 1/4-inch roll-up foam pad that I've had for 25 years.
I'll be here at the cabin with the dogs and the bear.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll be fighting off the bear every night. I can't even see you. Put you in the frame. So yeah, anyway, we're done with that, right? Jump in. Here, give me the camera.
Do you see how big my tomato plants are getting?
Uh-huh. See how big your tomato plant? Jenny's tomato plants are like twice the size of mine.
Why is that?
It must just be the love that I give them, as I weed around them and water them.
You don't weed around your own?
Well, no, that's not the point. Are you
the egg is the trick.
Yeah. So what do you got there?
We're taking care of the neighbors' chickens while they're out of town.
Yep. So Jenny's gonna take them a little.
Bird seed.
Jenny's gonna feed some domesticated birds. All right. Don't forget to grab the ladder. Make sure that solar panel doesn't slide off of there either. Sitting on there.
Well, you got 18 straps to put it on. Strap.
I'm not gonna use these straps.
Why?
Just drive carefully. Guys, the gardens are starting to take off. We've been using all of our water because this is the first little bit of rain. I think we've gotten like 1/10 of an inch of rain today. You know, there's one sure way to make it rain is try to do a project where you want it not to rain. And this isn't the project. This is the backup project.
I got it to rain a little bit, guys, because I hung my towel and swimming suit outside because I go swimming in town a couple days a week, and it was still wet from yesterday. So I hung it outside, and I knew if I hung it outside to dry, it would start raining, so it's been lightly sprinkling ever since.
It has. We might have to hide in the camper.
But
we do
just
have a tarp here. We could tarp the back of the side by side.
just slightly sprinkling. It's not.
It's raining, but not enough to collect rain.
How's that all?
Not what I expected. I thought he said there was some wires up here, but I don't see any wires. See what we got going on up here. We do have this plug. I can't even see it. There we go. This looks like an older solar input. Can you guys see that? Looks like a 2-prong setup. It's an old DC connection. So I have to do a little research. But maybe we'll just forego that completely. We just run run our own wires somewhere else, not through the roof. We can run it like down the side and do a side inlet. That sounds way better than a roof inlet. All right, so that's what we got there. All right, guys, makes it pretty hard to boondock and camp and use solar if you don't have a good solar panel. Today's video is sponsored by Renogy. Not only are we using their lithium iron phosphate batteries, we've been working with them for years. Actually, I learned how to use solar and built my first system with Renogy components. They have all the components you need to build a DIY system of your own. I'm excited to be working with Renogy again because they have a new N-type bifacial solar panel. As soon as we get warm temperatures, we lose a lot of production out of our solar panels. Not with these new N-type cells. They have a better thermal coefficient, so they work more efficiently in the extreme heat. Another great feature is it's a bifacial panel. That means reflective light can come up from the back, and we can get 10 to 30% better production out of this panel alone. Another great feature is that this panel works better in partial shade. The 200, the 320, and 400 watt panels have a half-cut independent module design. See that line right down the middle? That's there because it separates the panel into two components. So if partial shade is blocking the top half, we're still going to get power from the bottom half. Because the 100-watt panel is so compact in design and layout, it doesn't have this anti-shading technology like the larger panels, like the one I'm showing you here. Check this out, guys. Compact design gives us higher wattage for the footprint, more power per square inch. And it's got a 10-year product warranty and a 25-year 80% output warranty. That 10-year warranty and 25-year 80% output warranty are going to bring you peace of mind. And it brings you even more value with your investment on this panel. And guys, Renogy's been in the business a long time, 16 years. They're actually celebrating with a 16-year anniversary sale online right now. Renogy has great deals on their entire lineup. They have batteries, charge controllers, inverters, solar panels, or you could buy an entire solar kit, have everything in one kit made right up for you. And if you guys are getting into solar or ready for an upgrade, make sure you check out the links in the description box below. Those links will take you right to their page where they're having that big sale for their 16th anniversary. So make sure you check those out. So thanks, guys, for letting me tell you about it. Now, let's get back to working on this camper. All right, guys, so for frame of reference, this is all built in for a generator. It's supposed to have a onboard liquid propane or gasoline generator. And there is a power source right here. These wires, dripping on me here. These wires are for starting the generator, so you can remotely start the generator from a push button on top of the stove, like on the stove vent. There's a little start generator button. These wires are for that. There's a couple different color-coded ones too, so you can hook it up to the switch. I'm not going to use these now. They're there. I know they're available if I ever need to do something like that. We're not doing gas generator. We're doing solar generators. And I could very easily just put a solar generator right here. I have the one picked out. I was going to use my bigger one. I'm going to use a smaller solar generator. And we're going to tie into we're going to tie in right here. It'd be really easy to do that. Put that plug on there, plug it in the solar generator. But I want this space. This space is very valuable. But what happens here, so you follow me along, looking at the power source here, it goes into the wall here, goes into the wall, and then goes back towards the front of the camper. Or that right there feeds all the way through the camper, all the way around to the power distribution box, passes the power distribution box to this plug right here next to our power inlet. This is the TT30. That's for when you're on site, modern campsite, plugging into the grid or site power. So what we have to do is leave this cord rolled up in here all the time. This plugs in to right here. And we'll pretty much leave it plugged into that outlet all the time. Unless we're at a campsite and it's like an extra $2 for power or something and they want to, we need the power, say it's 95 degrees and we want to run the air conditioner without worrying about it, then we could unplug it from there, plug it into the site. I don't know what our adventures are going to entail, and I'm sure we will end up at some modern sites with power and it'll either be included or like a few dollar upgrade, so we can just hook into it if we need to. The wires go in this wall. They go through here, somewhere back in the wall or underneath here. I haven't found them back here yet. Oh yeah, there they are. They're back here. So we could remove this storage and splice into that right here and put our power solar generator right here in this spot. The other option is over here. So if my solar generator will plug into this, will fit in this little compartment, that's where it's going. But let's get some power on in here right now. All right, so first off, here's our 300 amp hour Renogy battery, lithium iron phosphate battery. We showed this to you 6 months ago, I think, when we had it hooked up in our solar shed. It's going to be used for our camper now. This has huge capacity, a lot of watt hours, like 4,000 watt hours almost. Compared to like an AGM or flooded lead acid would have like 600. This has like literally 6 times the power, because you can use the whole thing, and it's 300 amp hours rather than 100. There we go. We got power in the cabin, or in the camper now, for lights. Lots of power in here. The Mini Core. We've tried quite a few batteries from Renogy. We really like them. Anyway, let's go work on see where that power station is going to go, or the solar generator, and then we'll see if we can run wires to it. Alright guys, well, since this does not fit in there, I'm probably just going to put it inside the camper, because these wires go right through the corner of this box. And maybe this will just be a little tool compartment. I think a lot of people who switch over to solar and these truck campers do that. They turn all their outside compartments for batteries into storage, because you need storage. Like, this would be a perfect little toolbox area for tools and stuff, or like just day-to-day stuff, emergency stuff. Might be, who knows what I'll find out. So I could either cut the back of this plastic tray out and just push this in, or I could try to pull these wires into the camper and roll that way. I think I'm just going to do that. I mean, this is a lithium iron phosphate battery, so there's no off-gassing. So that's why they did this before outside, because of off-gassing, and it had to be sealed, so you didn't have the burn-off going into your camper. But lithium iron phosphate, no burn-off. Let's see how hard that would be to do. Power cord just come in like right here. There they are. Oh man, guys, I had the camera turned on. I pushed these wires through this plastic box on the outside up into this corner, and now they're right here. These are the ones that were in that box before, so I can bring them over here and hook them to the battery. Where's my positive? So here's the 2 wires. I can just bring them and put them right in here. I actually have a 240 amp hour battery from Renogy 2 that we were using with the wind turbine, and that might fit in here even better, because it's a little bit bigger, but it has brackets. I just have to find them. All right guys, look at that. We got the new Renogy battery installed in the camper. I'm gonna mount it down, get a strap or some brackets from up at the cabin and get that in there. So, hey guys, good morning. Got a little cold spell going through here, and chilly at night. I was working on the camper the other day, and we got rained out off and on, so that's good. We got some rain in our tanks. That's exciting. Garden's growing good. Everything's good. So, but I did not do a good job of wrapping up how I finished stuff up with the camper. So I'm gonna take it out, grab a cup of coffee. We'll go down and kind of like show you what I did. Let's head down. So guys, we're getting into summer here. It's like a jungle down here again. It's amazing how different things are through different times of year. There's so much time here where it's just barren and kind of brutal. It can get pretty crazy here, and now we're back in the jungle, so that's good. It is beautiful here. It is nice to be able to see when the trees don't have leaves, but the trees don't have leaves for 6 months a year, so more like 5, but we're back to jungle living, so that's good. It's pretty. I think one of the neighbors is working on something. Here's some heavy equipment. We have neighbors that are about a mile away. You know, neighbor John and stuff, but their properties are close to us. You know, our properties butt up to each other. But anyway, that's really close. Maybe they're cleaning up the road. I don't know. It's really close. Anyway, so guys, I didn't really follow through and show you what I did, and nothing's final yet. So I feel bad even like showing you a whole video about stuff that might not be final. But check out what I have. I showed you earlier in the video my options. So here's what I did, guys. I showed you that generator outlet that wrapped around the whole camper. What I ended up doing is tying in a line to that and feeding it underneath the stove here and over to our large wardrobe. I figured this was a good space for this because I can feed a solar line underneath the sink and stove to here. It was just easy to do. It was close to that generator outlet. Power station here. This is a smaller Elite 300, not sponsored. Just this is what I decided to use because it fit in here, and it was a lot of watt hours for the size. So let's turn on the lights. Should turn on all the lights here. There we go. So this is going to be easy to charge. We got a charging input right here for solar, so I can run the wires down the back. Down in here, same way. I took a TT30 and I clamped it to a 10 gauge wire, took it to the back, took it down underneath the stove. There's just nothing but storage under here. Took it back in here and over to that outlet that's right there on the outside. I might change this. I don't know. We might put some epic solar system in this at some point, but again, I'm just trying to use it and see if we enjoy it before I make any big decisions. I see people go pretty crazy with these things, and that's cool. To be honest, with the cabin and the property and all the stuff we have to do around here, I get kind of overwhelmed and burned out with all the complexity of everything. Sometimes it's nice to just keep it simple. Actually, it always is nice to keep it simple, but in YouTube world, simple dies sometimes. So I just tried to have fun with this and check out some cool equipment and check out the lifestyle and hang out with you guys and have a good time. So that's what I came up with. It's not the best wiring setup, but it's functional. All of our AC stuff works. This does draw only 57 watts. 55, 60 watts when we're running just the lights. So at 3,000 watt hours, we can run for a very long time. We can run for 60 hours. That's not using, the water pump's going to run on this too. I haven't even tested to see how much the water pump. Let's turn the water pump on for 2 seconds. Maybe it can't run. Why would that not turn on? Why would that not turn on with the AC on? Anything else works? The water pump should work on that. That's concerning. Let me go turn the 12 volt on and see if it runs. It ran before. I heard it run before. Hopefully this is not a new issue. No 12 volt pump. It's always something. Alright, here's what I just came up with, guys, off camera for 2 seconds. And I'm hoping the water pump had antifreeze going into it, so maybe it has pressure in it. Let's hope here. Let's see. It's a pressure regulated pump like the one we use for the cabin. So let me open the valve here and see if this works. Yes. All right, that's all it was. All right. Crisis averted. I don't know, guys. I don't even know. I just always try to keep things simple, and it was so simple that I just missed it. So anyway, I'm gonna turn the 12 volt battery off because the converter is trying to charge our 12 volt battery when that battery's on, so it's drawing 300 watts. That's because the battery needs to be charged, so I should hook up a charger to that. I have a couple of simple charge controllers. That we can hook up to a solar panel directly to the battery. and then we can charge either the battery or the power station. But anyway, guys, that's what I have set up. Sorry I missed it the other day. I just had a little bit of trouble fishing that wire back underneath there, and didn't, can't really record when you're in tight spaces like this. So that's what I come up with. We're gonna run the camper with this. I'm gonna run a solar cable from here underneath there over to there. There's a little hole, and we'll get some solar running in this bad boy very soon. We're gonna try to use that Renogy solid panel if I can find a good place to mount it. If not, I have this backup Renogy solar blanket. This was my intention. If I can't find a good place to mount that, which I should be able to, find a good place to mount that on top for full-time power. If I can hook up that 200 watt panel on the roof for permanent and charge the power station, that will then in turn charge the battery when it's just sitting all the time, awesome. But yeah, here's our backup plan. We've had this for a while. 400 watts. We can hang it on the side of the camper if we need to, or the top. We can just lay it on top of the camper if we need to. So we'll figure it out. I'm excited to try it out. I'm having some troubles with a company that I'm getting the mounts for this truck. I'm not, for my truck, so we can mount this in a better fashion. I'm not sure I'm going to show you that video. I should, because this company is a very popular company that sells stuff on, a lot of YouTubers use this company, but I don't know what the legalities of me trashing a company are, because I've, never worked with a company that I've been extremely disappointed with, and I'm not working with them. I just bought something from them, and it's been a terrible, terrible experience. So, the company that I bought the mounts from is just like jerking me around. They're not I call them, they tell me they're going to send me a return label because they sent me the wrong parts, and they are not. So I'm pretty sure I'm just going to end up having to dispute it and hopefully get my money back, because it's insane. Never been treated like this from a company, and it's, again, just kind of putting a sour taste in my mouth with this camper in general, because I want to go use it. And we've been too busy to use it anyway, but we do have a trip planned in a few weeks. We're heading to a friend's in Maryland, and we're hoping to take this with us and enjoy it for the first time. Apparently it's going to be the first time, not the second time. So anyway, we need to try to go out on like a maiden voyage before we take this thing 1,000 miles away. So anyway, that's the day. That's the deal. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. Sorry to have a little simple camper video, but I hope you guys enjoy seeing the progress on this, and we'll catch up with you. Get it all outfitted with all our gear in here. Get the bed situated. We got a new mattress. I showed you that a few weeks ago. Just kind of bought it cheap off Marketplace. Someone upgraded. It's brand new. I wouldn't buy a used mattress that's been used. This one they bought a new camper and wanted something nicer. So soon we will get the kinks out of everything here, and we will enjoy this camper, I promise you guys. So I appreciate you sticking with me through it all, and let's have some fun in the next camper video, okay? Thank you for hanging out with me. Appreciate you guys. All right. Best wishes.